Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you another question. Where exactly are you plugged in? Where's your point of connect with the matrix? Or let me ask you this, where's your point of disconnect with the matrix? Here's a post I just made to a group I manage on Facebook, the Ombanda New Earth Education Center. This group was one of the first groups I created. I've created quite a few since I've created this one last year, I guess roughly around September of last year. Anyway, here's a post I just made. So you witnessed how others like to invoke that G word, God. How they invoke that word in an attempt to somehow marginalize another person. You know, that's not godly. You're not a God, God, everything's God. But it's a word, it's a power word, it's a magic word, if you will, that others like to drop every so often, to put you in your place. But it may be helpful for all you people with the G word all connected in your little circuits to somehow stop using that word for a while. Just your mind is filled with all sorts of confusing thoughts about what God is. I mean, you need to clear your mind of all contradictory and imperfect concept of who and what God is. Unplug your little mind from your little G concept because it's imperfect. How do you describe the indescribable? How? God is the one being who gave rise to all of existence. God is the radiance of your existence, the living presence of life that is fully awake within itself, the perfect, that which is beyond any intellectual understanding. But it's a lesson to see how others like to use that G word to somehow rein another person in, to somehow, like I said, marginalize. I like that word. That's the post that I made. You know, is that where you're connected into the matrix with your use of the word God, the G word? Because look, the Archons, here's another post I made in my little group. The Archons influence the way we perceive the world, not the world itself. That's what you have to realize. If all these people that are misunderstanding third dimension, fourth dimension, fifth dimension, they're waiting for a Hollywood movie scene to develop something dramatic, like a big tsunami of change coming in. Well, no, the change is within your frequencies, within your human matrix, and how it embraces the divine matrix and changes. The change begins from within. To see the change in the outside world, you have to go within, go in. So the Archons influence the way you perceive the world, not the world itself. The primary power in the world we inhabit is the indwelling divinity of the planet, the Gaian intelligence called Sophia by the Gnostics. If you are aligned to this intelligence, this earth awareness, Terra, fifth dimensional earth, T-A-R-A, Terra, like the old Irish word. If you are aligned to that intelligence, you do not see the world as a place of fear and predation, but of beauty, bounty, and magic. It is important to note that the imitation of Yaldabaoth, this is the evil demiurge of the Gnostics, the god of this world, the god that's spoken of in the Old Testament, that god, Yaldabaoth, that's who the true name of that god of jealousy, of war, of division of the Old Testament. It is important to note that the imitation of Yaldabaoth's earth is a thought in his mind. The earth of Yaldabaoth is not real. The point for the reader, for you to understand, to remember, is that when a person feels and thinks that the world in which he or she is living is a horrible and loveless place, he or she has entered Yaldabaoth's mind, and thus the matrix. You are plugged into the matrix. If that is what your frequency field is comprised of, is, you know, paranoia, reptilian fight or flight, that's how we're trapped. It's all conceptual. It's all in the mind. And that's why it's important to be able to differentiate, to have perspective, to not be a slave to your thoughts or to your brain, to your mind is the conceptual entity that exists between spirit and the brain, the tool, the physical brain. Namah Shivaya. Namaste, Namaskara.